gonna grab the other housing that's on my bench. Do. This one right here. And we're talking. So I got asked the other day during the stream about Bellmouth versus divorced wastegate downpipes. And my answer was, I don't like divorced downpipes. Oh! Yeah, that's what people say. People say that, but I don't see a point to them.
What about the externally divorced, internally gated downpipe?
You mean like on an Evo?
That's a Nissan thing. Huh?
You mean like on an Evo?
Yeah, that's a Nissan. It is also an SR thing, like big time.
Yeah. Well, they also have a turbo fold.
That's an RV thing.
All right. So for those that don't know, and for those that just finally got here, just kidding. You guys just got your notifications, I know. This is an example of a divorced wastegate downpipe. Now what you'll see is that they have a little tube here, smaller one, that's supposed to provide a flow path for the internal wastegate. Now, biggest issue with these is they don't fucking work. So that's the biggest issue. And I'm gonna show you why.
Hey, just tell them how it is.
I hate them. That's the biggest issue. I hate them. Okay, so let's look at this. This is made for a stock VF. And you can see where this hole is located, down here in this lower corner. Let's now look at the housing that it's supposed to made up to. So this housing is supposed to made up to. And if you look at it, this flap, it isn't in the lower left corner. It's over here, right? What's over here in this corner? Well, the freaking arm. And what happens when this wastegate opens? It gets blocked by that freaking arm. So I don't understand why people think this is great. Look at this. Oh, okay, so now I have this entire arm and flap and disc blocking the port, the tube, whatever you want to call it, in the downpipe. Let's look at it again. This is above this bolt, essentially. If we go over here, what's above that bolt? Nothing, just a bunch of material. In the far corner is the little teeny skinny pipe that's supposed to flow all the exhaust gas that comes out of this wastegate. Now, you might go, well, this thing opens all the way. Well, it doesn't. They usually open about 45 to 60 degrees. It's about as far open as they get. And in factory form, they open less than that, because if you've looked at the factory one, it's a flat flange right here. There's a flat plate right here, and that's as far open as it goes, to even with the flat plate. So that's all you get. So now I have all this gas trying to get out of this hole and trying to go into this hole, and it has to flow around the disc and around the arm in some stupid fucking flow path, right? Like, this is just atrocious. Now here we go.
Can you see through the wastegate hole?
Lane put one on here from the bottom.
No.
First.
If you could see it from
How far up does it go?
You can see it from there. Look at the housing.
Oh, let me get the flashlight. Because I can see it, but they cannot. Was it in here?
I just had that thought. I'm like, oh, I wonder if we can look through the center section.
No, it's a good thought. Where'd the flashlight go?
Yes?
Yes, that's what I was thinking. I think yes was the right answer as well.
Yep. I got one right here.
Okay. So I stole the green one earlier.
You lost Tanner.
Unless Tanner confiscated his flashlight back. Oh no, there it is. I remember I stuck it on the cage, but it was on the other side. There we go.
Is that good?
Yeah,
That's
you
all
can
the
see
way
the
up.
door. Okay, let's see if I can get this on the camera here. All right, you see that shiny disc right there? That's the flapper. Shut the flapper. Open the flapper. Okay, open it up. Now behind it is that gray shadow. Open again.
It doesn't have any light in there.
No, it was good where the way it was. And then just open the door again. Behind it, you see a little gray shadow. That's where the gas is supposed to flow. That doesn't make sense. Now, the other alternative is, now look what they did. They created this flow path between this flapper and this whole region. So what's really happening is you're directing that exhaust gas off of this door, bounce on the door, into and around this area here that's somewhat shielded. Yeah, I don't see a point. Like, that definitely reduces the available. That's the point, Bradley says. The point is to do what? Give it less flow? So it controls boost less gooder?
More gooder.
More gooder. Oh, higher boost because the wastegate can't do its job. That's right, all the boost. Yeah.
It's a very expensive boost controller.
It's a very expensive, yeah, and it's, you know, I wouldn't even call it controlling. So anyways, you can see with this one, why this one wouldn't work at all. You know what else doesn't work with this? The turbo that's on the car this came off of. You're gonna pull this off. Here, I'll get this part. Oh, you put a nut on it. You clever little dog, you.
I didn't want to drop it. I'm lazy.
I mean, and they're expensive, so I get it.
Yeah. They're also custom.
So the customer had to bend this over, blocking the discharge of the turbo so that the wastegate flapper arm on the other turbo that's on the car would even fit. So now I'm reducing the flow out of the turbo for the sake of letting the wastegate open somewhat and still have reduced flow. So overall, it's just loaded with negatives. I don't see any positives in this. I'll show you on the turbo here. So you can see this. It's a completely different style wastegate actuator and arm and flapper door. Totally different angle, totally different orientation. And this happens all the time. You get VFs on a Legacy versus a VF or a TD04 on a Legacy versus a VF on an STI or whatever, the GR fitment, that the same downpipes fit, you know what I'm trying to say? Words are hard today. And you get contact between the flapper door and the flange. You get contact flapper door, and looks like there's contact right here too, even on that somehow. That must be from something else. And you get really shitty flow. So, what do I think of these? I think they're trash. I think they're complete junk. There's no point. If you're gonna do what the factory does and have a flat flange on it, get rid of this nub, this plate here, cut it off, let it behave like a factory one, and with a slight gain because you have some gas going here too. But overall, that door opens, like I said, 45 or so degrees. Let's see, like that. And that exhaust gas is coming out at this angle towards the camera. It's not going to want to hang another freaking 180 degree turn to get down that skinny pipe. That doesn't make any sense. Now you get a Bellmouth, and you get a little more opening of the actuator if you have the range in the actuator. And the gas can even leave in a straighter angle. Or if you have a Bellmouth around this, the gas isn't forced to jam directly into the airflow leaving the turbo. It's able to merge smoother into the airflow leaving the turbo. So what do I think? Bellmouth all day long. I don't even know why these are a thing.
There's a Bellmouth on the floor over there. Just the record.
Oh, they're cutting vinyl. Don't hurt Tanner. Where's the one on the floor?
Bottom of the shelf over there.
Bottom of the shelf over there. This side or that side? Here we go. Got it. So look at this Bellmouth here. You can see the main pipe is somewhat biased towards the left side. This one actually is pretty even. Still some balance towards the turbo side for the discharge. And you can look inside and say, hey, look at all this space for the exhaust gas to expand into. Yeah, I mean, gas separation. I thought about that too. I also thought about the fact that he goes from high pressure to low pressure through an orifice, and the orifice is either the internal wastegate itself or the SR20, or the turbine wheel. But it does that anyways. And with the flat flange like the factory, it comes in and shoots across the flange, imparts, you know, energy and stuff, and flows through here and interferes with the gas leaving here. At least this way, if I have a Bellmouth, I reduce how much interference I'm getting in here. I mean, none of them are perfect, right? That's why external wastegates are great.
Well, the flap opens around Chris.
The flap. I mean, yeah, if you open the other direction, that would be handy, you know. The other side of that too that I wanted to mention was they go, oh well, let's flow better. Or you're talking about separation and shit. Well, look what happens just 8 inches down the pipe. Well, no, that's like 2 feet. That's right, because this is 8 inches.
No.
Like, you know,
This is 8-inch.
oh, I'm sorry. About 2 feet down the pipe, it comes in at an angle that's not very smooth, and it's gonna cause turbulence anyways with the air leaving. So I don't see a point.
Oh, yeah.
All you do is have a downpipe that looks kind of pretty, has a weird, you know, machine flange, but then hurts flow, hurts boost control, hurts performance. I don't really see any benefit at all, honestly.
This is a flange I had.
You had one cut? Is that for a Subaru?
Mhm.
But it doesn't open. Oh, it kind of opens.
Well, it wasn't meant for the Mamba one,
Right.
which has a much bigger flapper.
Right, but you can still see though, like, it's when it's open halfway, it's in the way.
Covers it up.
Yeah, it's in the way of the discharge. It don't make no sense. Here, put this one. This is what it's made for, right?
Yeah,
Factory
I got the holes are plasma cut, so they don't.
Oh, they don't quite fit, right?
Yeah, they need to be drilled. But
This one doesn't fit at all. Oh. But still,
But I mean,
can
you
see,
can see though.
and it only opens like 45 degrees anyway, so it just blocks the flow. Yeah, barf. Barf.
Well, Subaru did that because of flat flange, so they directed it over into the hole.
Yeah, it makes sense for that purpose completely. Okay, let me see. I got a bunch of other questions besides some smart ass comments, I think. They were crossing if you have external wastegate. Yep, we said that. If you have external wastegate, you don't need to force downpipe. That's also true. If you have external wastegate, stick with a flat flange. Higher boost, yep, that's good. They say it's not stock, don't you know? My scavenging, bro. My back pressure, my gas separation. That's funny. What about a Bellmouth that's got a little divider plate like the GT spec downpipe?
No, because it still does it.
I don't know. Doesn't sound good. Also, because if that divider, if you're sticking that divider back in there, you're putting it between the gate and here, and now you've got this flat section that this is discharging against into this wall. That's not going to aid flow. I don't think that'd be beneficial at all. What do you think about a stock downpipe and with external wastegate? I don't like the stock downpipe because there's flow restrictors in it. There's giant flow restrictors in it, so you know I don't care for it too much. But I do like the fact that it keeps the cars pretty quiet and comfortable because that's the old man in me talking. Yeah, so that is my Bellmouth versus junk. I mean, divorced external wastegate.
So Matt makes one for
Review.
the FAs that's super nice. It's flat flange, 3-inch discharge,
Yeah.
but it's a next down to 2.5.
After the flange?
No, right at the flange.
Oh,
It's
interesting.
2.5 to 3-inch flat flange because the
Oh, okay.
wastegate opens.
Right. Why'd they just go full 3 then?
It's tight with bolts and stuff.
Oh, I see.
But
I
it fits
haven't
really
seen it.
nice.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
So it'd be kind of like using a flat flange, like from a stock downpipe to a high flow one.
Gotcha. Dave says come back to Cincy. Fuck no, Dave. I appreciate the the sentiment, but I'm thinking clean air and mostly smell. Yeah, I like cleaner air. I love cleaner air. That's why I moved up here. Dear recognition from best downpipe for EJ. High flame Bellmouth with no cat. If flow is your thing, then yes. If you're one of those maverick renegades that likes to violate federal emission standards and put their tuners' lives in jeopardy.
Those are bad people.
Yeah. So today and yesterday, what I've been working on, I'm taking a break from because it's hot. That's why I decided to do this video now because the engine's hot. I have to take the throttle body off. Is this car. This car is rally prepped with cage. It's got a 207 in it. It's a restrictor, of course, 'cause it's a rally car. It's all done up. It's got an M-Tron in it. And I've been spending the last 2 days doing some configurations and some rewiring and things like that because it's got flex fuel, right? But it's got a Cobb flex fuel system on it. And as you may know, these are extremely problematic. And this is the V1 of the Cobb flex fuel, so its chance of failure is over 100%. So there's no reason to have this in here if we don't need it. We have an M-Tron. M-Tron will read directly from the sensor. So I have wired the M-Tron and the sensor directly to the M-Tron. So now it reads just this little guy. Doesn't have to deal with any of the 0 to 5 volt stuff that Cobb has going on. So it's not going to fail him while he's on stage. I also had to wire in a wheel speed sensor because he took out the air ABS pump, and being it's a GR, there's no vehicle speed sensor in the transmission. All you have is the wheel speed sensors, and normally in the GR, all 4 wheel speed sensors go to the ABS pump that sits over here somewhere, right up there, right? And in that pump is also the VDC controller. So it takes all those speed sensor inputs and creates a VSS and feeds it to the computer via the CAN bus, but it doesn't exist. So now I have no speedo, and I have no speed indication for the ECU, which doesn't like that for idle control purposes. It doesn't like that for launch control stuff that I'm going to do and all that. So I had to wire in, I think I did that one, actually, the left front into the M-Tron. Now what was cool is he already pulled the harness back for the VDC harness. There's a plate over here that he made. He pulled the harness back and it was in the car, so I just found the 2 wires, cut them, put 2 pins on them, jammed them into a digital input and signal ground on the M-Tron, and Viola, I have vehicle speed, that wheel, which is better than nothing. So ideally, I would have more wheel speed sensors and stuff and have some fun with that, but we're actually getting low on inputs on the M-Tron, believe it or not. I was surprised by that. So I wired that in. We also put a wideband in here with the hole, the plate that he had put in there for the VDC harness he had pulled out. We drilled a hole in the plate, put a grommet in it, ran a hose through it, or cable through it for the O2 sensor. That's this guy right here. The M-Tron has onboard lambda. Obviously, we got some zip tying to do in this area. Has onboard lambda, so it'll control a Bosch LSU 49 whatever sensor, right? Internally, so all the heater circuit control and all that shit is part of the system. So there's no external boxes, there's no CAN-based stuff to worry about. It's all there, and that goes into the downpipe. This right here is for the fire suppression system. He's still working on that. He's got to finish routing this into another spot and capping it off, so that's why it's sitting there. VSS, that there. Okay, I think that's all the work I do wiring-wise, as well as put a bunch of stuff back together inside the car. I had a bunch of things that still weren't quite together, and there's still some left to do in that regard. It's got a mass airflow sensor, but we're not using it because maps get wet on rally cars, so we don't want to use that because that's rough. Unfortunately, that is the most accurate measurement of airflow, or air mass, I should say, into the engine to give you the most accurate fueling and the most correct timing curve. But since that's not a good idea on a rally car, we went straight for the speed density, which got a Cobb 4 bar. Totally unnecessary. This is a GR. Factory map sensor is beautiful, works great, reads almost 30 PSI, and is all you need, especially for a restricted car that's limited to 21 or 22 PSI. I forget what it is on the American Rally requirements. I think they limit you at 20 or 22. Anyways, which is well within the range of even the GD map sensor, which isn't a 3-bar, or almost 3-bar, the factory one. But it's got that. I think it had the car, he had it on the car a long time ago and he was doing other stuff before he made a rally car out of it. So still has it. Not needed, but it's there. It works. The turbo has a restrictor in it. He's in novice class. It's his first rally stuff or events, car, etc. He's a newbie for rally stuff. And the turbo has a 30 millimeter restrictor in it because that is the requirement of such a thing. And then when you get out of the novice class, you survive a handful of races. Then they let you go up to the larger restrictor, which unleashes more power, right? Good. What else? Yeah, I think that's it for this. So the problem that I've been having is the throttle control is super wonky. It won't hold a steady idle. What's interesting is you watch the motor, and the motor is driving down slowly and smoothly to taper idle out, but position is staying really flat. And then all of a sudden position drops, bloop, like that, and then the car goes, and then the motor has to come back up again, and as the motor's come back up again, the position stays. So it's telling me that while the motor current and everything are increasing, the throttle body's not moving. Now that's a problem because it's just sawtooth for a long time. And then it starts to move a little bit and then it goes ka-chunk and jumps up. And then it comes down and then ka-chunk drops down. So I think that there's a chipped tooth on here or just too much slop in the throttle body in the idle position, in the low idle position. And even a brand new throttle bike has a little bit of slop right there. And I think this one is just too damn much, honestly. I'm hoping that's what it is, because I have no more fine control over the motor than what it's got. The motor counts down in tenths of a percent, and you can watch go 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, then 0, 9, 8, 7, 6, in tenths of a percent. That's how slow the motor is counting down. Like, you can't get slower control of a throttle body than that. And then all of a sudden, position goes, so, and it drops like 5%. So something's fucked up, and unfortunately it was hot because I've been running it for like 4 hours, trying to get the idle to work, and finally decided that it's clearly fucked up. I need to swap it out. So I got to pull this throttle body out, feel it, check it out, see if I can find any evidence of excessive slop, and then put another one in there. Unfortunately, it's not going to be fun. I'm not looking forward to it. That is not like fun, because that's non-factory with a non-factory turbo. I'm sure that was a bitch to get in, and judging by the fact that I see a zip tie and some wire hooked up to that hose clamp, I'm guessing he had a hell of a time. So I'm going to try and do it without pulling the intercooler off. I'm going to loosen the bracket. I'm going to take this guy off. I'm going to pull those loose. I'm just going to pivot it up a little bit, hopefully not peel it off the turbo, just enough to separate this and pull this fucker out and drop a new one in there. So that's what I have to do. Unfortunately, I'm working 2 days on this car, and I had something else on the schedule tomorrow, but it might be that this is on the schedule for tomorrow now. Hopefully the gentleman brought enough clothing, because he lives on the west side. Actually lives up by the Canadian border, I think, or something, right? I think that's what he said. So he's got a long drive ahead of him. He woke up at 2 a.m. and started driving just to get here in time for his 10 o'clock appointment. He got here at 9, but still, it's a long drive. You can always buy new clothes. It's cheaper than driving home and getting them, right? Yeah, someone said about the fuck. I'm not sure which part. I'm guessing maybe that spool of hose there, and I showed them that was the fire switch system, and hopefully that answered the question. Who knows? All right. So that being said, do you have any questions for me? If you've never tuned an M-Tron, you're lucky, because it's a pain in the ass. Although I did say learn some keyboard shortcuts that definitely help out a lot. I wish I had known them before I started. I found them out just like the last hour ago, and I've been tuning M-Trons for a long time. That helps you get back to where you were. The problem with M-Tron is that everything is in these menus, and it just takes forever to cycle through the menus. But anyways, very cumbersome system to use. Loaded with features though, extremely powerful. Tons of options, motorsport stuff, CAN-based stuff, different ways of controlling the engine, more types of engine control schemes than any other EMS that I've ever seen, be it, MAP and BAP and EMAP and TPS and alpha and stuff, and like every method you could think of is in there. You can do air modeling for mass, you can do a straight VE, estimate, you can do, you name it, you can do it. You can run it off a TMAP, just whatever. Like, you can do all kinds of things. So the system has tons and tons of control, tons of options. The KV8 has a lot of inputs, a lot of outputs. It's got like 14 analogs or 16 analogs and 14 digital inputs in it, or something like that. Plus all the cam and crank sensors and knock sensors and stuff, which are separate. A lot of systems will have the knock sensor, cam and crank as part of the inputs. These are a whole nother realm of inputs. It's got the onboard lambda, like I said, which is really great. So it's got lots of stuff. It's very, very powerful, very slow to tune because there's so much stuff. They tell you, oh, just use our TMAF feature. Just use that. Or they call it TMAF, I guess. Use our TMAF feature. It's way easier that way. And while it might be, I don't like doing that solely on the car. I don't feel it's as accurate, although they claim that it is. But in the cars I've tuned with it, it's been too variable. So I don't know. Eventually I might end up using it more, but I'm not sure. That being said, though, like I said, very powerful. It's a good price for what you get. You do have to pay extra if you want the CAN-based stuff, or the Subaru, or the Nissan, or the Lexus, or all the stuff they have these CAN programs for to work with the OEM systems. For example, in this car with the VDC box, which is missing, but if it was there, then it would get vehicle speed from the VDC. It would get, and then it also transmits coolant temperature to the cluster and all of that stuff. That's all built into it. Yeah. So it's a good system. It's a good system. I like it. It's just slow. Just slow to tune. I just got a sliver somehow. But whatever. Anyways, I gotta get back to it. It feels cool enough to turn wrenches on. Doesn't feel too hot anymore. I'm rocking the vintage MPS shirt again today, along with the new Tier 1 hat. I need my own stuff. I don't have any GetaDomTune clothes. I don't have shirts or hats, or I don't even have stickers. No. I gave them my terms, and they said, yeah, that's great. And that's all I've heard. So, nothing yet. I'm supposed to. I mean, I told them that I would be at SEMA, so if they needed me to do some filming at SEMA, I'd be available for that. I think they're just really busy. They said they had 285 or something videos due just this month alone. So I'm guessing that they're really, really busy, and a quick integration of a new guy might not be, quick enough for the time they have available to them. So, and who knows? Maybe they saw one of the videos and like, this guy's too crazy. Fuck him. Who knows? I don't know. We'll see. They haven't told me. So. Yeah, well, we're going to be there. There's a lot of us going, actually. And the wife and I decided not to go with the new job. Okay. Right on. That's good. I need a car painted. I need to make some GetaDomTune merch. What needs to happen? I need to make some before I can even sell some. All I have is the beanies, and I didn't even put the beanies on the website because I'm stupid. But now the winter's on it. Winter's upon us. I should put the beanies on the website because that would make sense. And I need other things for sure. Maybe some sweaters or some hoodies or something would be nice. Everybody else has them, right? Even people that I fucking hate. Yeah. Well, if you're gonna go to SEMA, then we'll see you there. We'll grab some sushi or something, or whatever there, Matt, or anybody else. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, the wife and I have a timeshare, and we use up like all of this year's and most of next year's points just to get rooms at the Margaritaville down there for all the guys. So we have 2 rooms for all the dudes. Sleeps like 16 people or something like that. At Margaritaville, so that'd be a good time. We should have it fun. Should be a good time. Anyways, let's see. I got a some message come through. What do we got? Oh, okay, nothing I haven't addressed already. All right, guys. Well, thanks for hanging out. Have a good one. That's all I have for you today. If you'd like to see videos and more like it, please subscribe and like. And what else are you supposed to say at the end of your thing? We're gonna work on that soon too, by the way. Chases that. We're working on that soon. And my RS, which is over there. We're over there. My RS. We're gonna work on that soon too. But anyways, man. See you guys. Have a good one. Thanks for stopping by.